Not moving far from regional matters, seasoned political analysts of the East African Community politics say that the disunity among some leaders of member states could lead to its collapse if cooperation continues as it is now. William Evans Mutabazi with more.
Sending East African Community Regional Force troops to Eastern Congo Kinshasa in 2023 was seen as a good step towards peace by heads of state of the East African Community after over 30 years of conflict. In an interview with the Ugandan television station, Major General Felix Kulaije, the spokesperson of the Ugandan Army, highlighted that the expulsion of the East African Community Regional Force from Congo raised further issues.
East African Intervention Force, ECRAF, as the acronym was to actually create an enabling environment for political discussions. It's history. When it came to 8th of December 2023, the force was told to pack and go. Because, in the words of the Kinshasa government, we were supposed to fight M23. And that was contrary to the mandate the heads of state summit had given us. In my humble view, that's when the golden opportunity of dealing with the M23 question was lost.
The situation soared further as countries like Tanzania and Burundi sent their troops to Congo to combat M23. Aloyse Mtabingwa, a former Deputy Secretary General of the East African Community, explained that this was indicative of betrayal from countries that did not want the negotiation process to be effective and was often influenced by a genocidal ideology. The mission that was to be executed by the East African Community Regional Force appeared different from what other member states were interested in. In its face value, we can say that whoever sent troops to Eastern Congo catalyzed the disagreements. SADC should have never even dared to send its troops to work along the government to suppress its own citizens who are fighting for their own survival. This is looked at as a sign that the genocidal ideology has taken root in the region through Congo.
Afrika y'Uburasirazuba ifite ikibazo gikomeye.
The East African community is faced with a serious challenge. Its members are not united and they have double standards and political hypocrisy. If this continues like this, the community risks being dissolved. In a virtual meeting with East African heads of state addressing the security issues in Eastern Congo, His Excellency President Paul Kagame expressed concerns, saying that the silence of the East African community is so loud and culminates in the interests of some member states.
But when do we match what we are saying and what we are doing so that we get to what we want? When do we come to that? I haven't seen it. President, I asked last time in our meeting, the last summit, where is East African community, or does it exist? And exist for what? By the way, even now the person or the country we are talking about is not represented as we are discussing. And it is supposed to be, the country is supposed to be part of East Africa, but nowhere to be represented. So I'm not sure what bearing what we are discussing has on what happens in the process of finding a solution in this country.
23 extraordinary summits of the East African Community Heads of State have been held, with none providing a long-term solution to the Congo crisis. The 24th summit, held yesterday, chaired by the President William Ruto, resolved that His Excellency Tshisekedi should engage in dialogue with his armed opponents even when he was not in attendance, and that the East African Community should convene an urgent summit with the SADC to seek a lasting solution to this situation. William Evans Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.